Hi everybody. Welcome to my Facebook Live. Thanks for watching. Hope everyone's doing well on this Wednesday evening. It's hump day, yay! We're moving along in the week, so that's good. All right, everybody doing okay? Having a good week? Talk about the weather. I love to talk about the weather, right? So it's still hot, 101 right now, so I hope it's cool where you are. I hope you're having some good weather. I hope you're having a nice summer. We're gonna get started in just a minute. I'm just waiting for everything to come up. And okay, I see myself on Facebook, so that's good. All right, so we're gonna get started. I've got some fun cards to make tonight. And some fun things to tell you about too with the promotions from Stampin' Up. So I think I'm ready to get my camera, turn it down, and we'll get started on making some cards right away. All right. Let's see if that's in a good spot where we can see everything. I think that looks pretty good. All right, so we've been working from the Sale-A-Bration catalog, and this is the special catalog right now where you can earn free product with your purchase. So if you remember last week, we used the tree lot dies, which was a really fun, I thought it was a fun class. I enjoyed doing it. I loved making those cards. But so this week, those are sold out, so they're not available anymore. They sold out quickly. So we're finished with that. The other thing that's sold out right now is these free pool party and soft sea foam cards and envelopes. So those are gone now too. This is the first Sale-A-Bration. Well, not true. I mean, last time I think they sold out of one thing, but I'm not used to them running out of stuff like that, but it's while supplies last. So you have to get, here's those tree lot dies from last week that are gone now. Anyway, so the set we're going to be working with tonight is also free. It's the Rings of Love Designer Series paper. It's on page 7 of the Sale-A-Bration catalog. And we're going to work with these papers. They're really cute papers and very different patterns. So we're going to make some fun cards with that tonight. And then Stampin' Up! Started a new promotion. And this just started the 2nd, which was yesterday. And they've added some items to the Sale-A-Bration. So they're not in the Sale-A-Bration catalog, but these are some of the new things that they have just added that you can also earn for free when you place an order. And it's either a $50 or $100 order to earn these items. So we may be using some of those in the near future. The Rings of Love paper also coordinates with this set in the catalog, and it's the Ringed with Nature bundle. And you have a stamp set and a die set. But I really didn't use any of those things for the cards. They're available and you can get them, but I just pretty much used the paper for the cards that we're going to make tonight. So these are the cards that we're going to make. I've got a big congratulations, which I thought this little house paper was really cute. And if you know anybody who's getting a new house or moving, I thought that would be a cute card. We've got a thank you gatefold card. This cute fall paper that was in with this designer series paper, I brought our little squirrel friend back from last year, and the squirrel set is still available. So we made a nice little fall card. And then this medallion paper is just really beautiful, and we just made, we're making a really simple, easy card. So, couple of notes on this. When I first made this card set a couple weeks ago, I used a couple, I'm always looking for the perfect sentiment for my cards, right? So I found these sentiments and I used them on my cards. Then I realized, oh no, these are retired. These aren't available anymore. So tonight we're going to use different sentiments on the cards as we make them. But those sentiments were from the Special Moments set. And if you can see at the top that it's from a past Sale-A-Bration. So the good news is if you like these sentiments, I have an extra set of these stamps, brand new, that I would like to give away with a little contest. So if you share my video either on Facebook or on YouTube, if you share it and leave me a comment that says that you shared it, I will put you in a drawing and I'll give away this Special Moments stamp set for next week. So I have an extra one. So if you like these sentiments, that would be a fun thing to win. Okay, so let's get started on our first card. And the first card we're going to do is the little house card. So let me get out the things that we're going to need. And let me just show you the paper we're using tonight too, while I'm thinking of it. So this is the paper, and I didn't do anything with this particular paper yet, but I'd like to. I think the mushrooms are really cute, right? The little houses, you can see my paper's all cut up. The Christmas one, it has fun designs on the back. This is kind of a watercolor. It's got the birds that we're going to use, the fall paper. So just a lovely variety of papers with really fun double-sided designer series paper. And I got it for free, so you got to love that. Okay, so with this first card, I am going to use some of the dies from this set that we use pretty much every week, the Scalloped Contours dies. And then this set came out this year. This is Stylish Shapes dies, and we've got the banner circles and the squares with the little stitch edge. So we're going to use some of these for this card as well. And then, like I said, we're going to substitute the sentiments to something that we have more current. So this Charming Sentiment set is new this year, and this is a really fun set. So we're going to use a couple sentiments from here on most of the cards. I think on 3 of the cards for tonight. Okay, so let's get out our pieces for the first card. And this card, we've done this fold before. This is a really fun fold to use, right? So this is like our normal fold, right? We cut it 8.5 by 5.5, right? So it's 8.5 and it's 5.5 this way. And then we normally score at 4 1/4 for our cards, but then we also scored at 2 1/8 right here, right? And then we're just gonna fold it this way. So it's gonna fold like this and then fold in. And that's gonna be the base of our card. Okay, the next thing is I have that designer series paper that I showed you, and this is the side that has that pretty almost watercolor looking paper. The birds are on the other side. We're going to use this side for the card, and we're just going to put these pieces, one here and one on the front right here. So let's just attach those with some seal. Oopsie. And we'll just center this right in the middle of our card. I'm going to move these cards out of the way so I can get a little higher on the camera so you can make sure that you can see everything okay. Whoops. Isn't that funny? It just keeps sticking like that. Okay. And we're going to center this on the front too. Okay, so that's good. Now, what I've done is I cut out 2 pieces of white from that Scalloped Contours dies, right? So I just have 2 different sizes. One is going to go on the inside and one's going to go on the front as the front flap. So I'm going to put the inside one on now, and that's just going to sit right directly in the middle. And that's what we can write on the inside of our card. So that's good. And then as you can see, when we put this piece on, it's going to cover that up because we're going to center this kind of in the middle too. So we're just going to add some layers to this. And let's start by doing our sentiment. Now, that Charming Sentiment set I just showed you, we're going to use the congratulations. So it's almost the same sentiments. One said big congratulations. This one just says congratulations. So let me get my stamp out. And we're going to stamp that in Night of Navy, which is the color that we used for our base of our card, color cardstock. All right, see if I can get this on straight. Okay, great. And then what I'm going to do is take my banner punch. And I'm just going to pick a banner punch and flag the sides to make this into a little banner. Now you can easily do this without a punch too. You can just cut it up the middle and then just clip both sides. To me, this is just super easy just to stick it in and get a perfect punch every time. So I like to do that. All right. So I also cut out of the Night of Navy with those other dies, the square, and this is going to frame our house. I also took one of the squares And again, this is the Stylish Shapes. I took one of the squares and I just put it around one of the houses on the Designer Series paper and just cut out this little picture of a house. All right, so we're just gonna attach that to our Night of Navy and the bigger square, and that frames it out really nice. It just looks like a little picture, doesn't it? Isn't that cute? We're gonna attach this to the banner die that we cut out, and this is going to go just a little bit over, and I think that looks fine just like that, the way it is. So we'll just attach that as well. See if I can center it so it's right in the right spot. Okay, I think that looks fine. We've got our congratulations. And we can start putting these. I'm gonna, just to add a little bit of dimension to the card, I'm gonna use dimensionals to put these onto the front of this piece that we have right here. So let me just flip this over and add some dimensionals. Whoa. And I'm going to put this kind of at the top, kind of hiding the little stitched part right there. And then I'll do the same thing with a couple dimensionals for our sentiment, and we'll put that across the bottom. Whoopsie, not upside down. That would be silly. And we'll put that just like that. And then I'm just going to use some adhesive and attach it to the front right here. Come on. And then this will be centered. If you close it, you'll put it right in the center, right? And then it flaps open like that. Easy, right? Isn't that a cute little card? All done with card number 1. And you could use, there's a whole bunch of different houses. You could use any of the different houses that are in the Designer Series paper. Okay, so I think the next card we're gonna do, we'll do the gatefold card with the birds. And that's just a nice little springy thank you card for somebody. The belly band lifts off, and then I just have a little bird that I cut out on the inside, so you can write on the inside of the gatefold. So let us get started on this one. Okay. So what we're adding to this card right here is I also used the Layering Circles dies, and again, I use this one almost every week. I love the scallops. It's got the plain circles for the inside. And then we're going to use that same sentiment set, the Charming Sentiment set. And this time we're going to use the thank you. And the nice thing about this set is it also comes with a set of dies that cut out the sentiments. So these are all specific to the sentiments and cut them out beautifully. So for the thank you, we're going to use the die and cut that out just like that with the die cut. So let's get started on that one. And here are our pieces. Okay. So this one, we're going to start with crushed curry, and we're doing the 8.5 by 5.5 again, but we're going to score at 2 1/8 on both sides. So score 2 1/8, flip it over, score at 2 1/8 again, right? And then both sides just flip in, making it the gatefold card. Nice and easy, right? Okay, so these are going to be our inside layers. For the front of the card, we're going to take this Rings of Love Designer Series paper again, and these are 5 1/4 by 1 7/8, both of them, and I'm just going to adhere these right to the middle. So I'll add some seal for that. I think these birds are really sweet. And again, just like always, the Designer Series paper, right on the little package, it tells you what colors are in the Designer Series paper so you can coordinate. So the little bird has some crushed curry in it. So that's kind of what we went with, was the crushed curry and the Night of Navy. Okay, so we have that side. Now for the inside, I layered it with 2 different Night of Navy and a basic white. Okay, so the Night of Navy is 5 1/4 by 4, and then the basic white is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So I'm just going to attach those. And you could just do the white if you wanted to. I just wanted to add another little extra border around it. So we've got that we're going to put on the inside. Now with the card that I did, I cut out the little bird, and all I did was just fussy cut it right from the designer series paper. So you could either put that on the inside of the card if you like it, or just cut an extra little strip of the designer series paper and just put it across the bottom of the card. So I think for this one, I'm just going to use the strip this time and just adhere this to the bottom. I'm going to leave just a tiny bit of blue on the bottom, just like that. And that looks pretty good, I think. And then we'll just add some seal and put this on the inside of the card. So the card itself now is pretty much done. And what we're going to do next is do the belly band. Push that. That's going to hold our card closed, right? So I have another piece of Night of Navy. This is 8.5 inches by 1 inch, and this is going to be the band of our card. So I'm just going to take this and just fold it. I'm not going to score it or anything. I'm just going to fold it so it comes across the front. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to hold it closed. And I don't want it too terribly tight, but tight enough. And it comes to about here, so I know where to put my adhesive to. So just a little bit of adhesive there. And then we're going to cover this part up because we're going to put our circle over it, right? So now we have our belly band, and that looks good. Let's see, does it slide? Yeah, that slides pretty good, but it's tight enough to hold it shut and not fall to the bottom of the card. So that looks pretty good. Okay, so let's do our stamping next because we want to stamp our sentiment. So I took just this little scrap of Night of Navy, and I'm going to use the Versamark to stamp the sentiment, and we've already decided we're going to use the thank you for it. So let me get my Versamark stamp pad out, and we will just get this. I'm going to just put it right in the middle with the Versamark, and then we're going to use some white embossing powder and emboss it. So we have white on the navy background. So we'll just spread a little bit of powder and shake it off. Just make sure I get this little piece off here. And then we're going to do some heat embossing with this. All right, get the powder off of here and get my tool. And we'll just heat this up for a minute until it turns. I guess technically it melts, right? Is that what happens with embossing powder? It melts it. And you can see it going right now. That looks really good. Don't you love heat embossing? It just makes everything look so good, especially when you start using like the metallics. And so Stampin' Up has 6 different colors of embossing powder, right? So you can get the basics, which is clear, black, and white. And then they also have the metallics, so that's gold, silver, and copper. So quite a variety there. Okay, so now you can see that we're all embossed. That looks good. And like I said, we're going to use that die that comes with it. Now, you don't have to. You can just cut this out. You can cut it in a rectangle, free cut it. But if you have the dies, we're going to go ahead and cut that out so I can show you how that looks, right? So I'm going to get my little mini cut and emboss machine. And we're going to line this up on there. And then we're just going to run it through. Nice and easy. Run it through. Whoa, hold on. Easy. I always forget to turn the volume off of my iPad before I get started. Okay, so let's see how that came out. Cute, right? It's like a perfect match, these die cuts to these sentiments. I just really love them. They're awesome. Okay, let me put that aside. All right, and let's finish assembling our card. So I used the layering circle dies, and I just cut a circle of the paper and a circle with the scallop of the crushed curry. So we'll just attach that again with some seal. Right in the middle. Now, placement of your birds when you cut it is key, right? So you can see on the first card, I kind of have my birds up there. This one, I've got like the full birds down here. So I think that means I'm going to move my sentiment this time and kind of put it up here so it's not covering up the full birds, right? So let me just get one dimensional and pop up the sentiment right there. And then I'm gonna pop this up on our belly band. And then I wanted to just make it a little bit fancier. So I played around a little bit with, did I want some branches? Did I want some leaves? And if you can tell, these little leaves right here are actually the parakeet party. But the paper, the parakeet party, is really bright. So I thought it was too bright. So I actually went and used the soft sea foam, and I just cut these random little leaves out of this set, which is Pen Flowers dies, right? So it's just this little die cut. You could use anything, use any set for leaves. You could free cut your leaves. We have a punch that you could just punch the leaves out of. So lots of choices. Use what you have, because it really doesn't matter that much, right? Just throwing some leaves on there. So I'm going to use a little bit of glue to attach these. Give me 1 second to get my glue started. All right, and we'll just put one on this side like that. And then we're going to put one on the other side. Like that. Okay. And that's it. That is our second card done. I don't know, you like the sentiment at the top or the bottom better? I don't think it matters that much. I think they're both cute. All right. That is card number 2. Let me put a couple of my toys away. If you would like the make and takes for these cards, just place an order of $35 or more at my Stampin' Up website, and by Saturday the 13th. Now I extended it out a little bit because originally the papers were on back order, and I think they were supposed to be in stock on the 12th, but they're already back in stock, so they're available. But I've extended it to the 13th, and use the host code here, the CBFXFH9P. If you boost your order to $50, then you'll earn a free Sale-A-Bration item. You could get the paper or any other Sale-A-Bration item that you would like. All right, so that's it. Let's move on to our next card. And next we're gonna play with the Squirrel Card. I think this is just a really cute fall card. All right, and if you remember this stamp set from last year, this is Nuts About Squirrels. It has the really cute little squirrels. It's got some fall leaves, branches, and some really cute sentiments. So that's what we're using tonight for this card, as well as this really awesome designer series paper that came with, that I got for free. So this card base, same size card base, 8.5 by 5.5, square to 4.5. And this time I used the Poppy Parade cardstock, which coordinates with the designer series paper. And I just cut out just one sheet of the paper at 5 1/4 by 4, the Rings of Love DSP, and we will just attach that and center it on the front of our card. It's pretty just like that, right? I just love it. I love, fall is one of my favorite colors, and I love, or one of my favorite seasons, and I love fall colors. Okay, next let's do some stamping. So we have 2 things to stamp. We need to stamp our squirrel, and we need to stamp our sentiment. So let's do the easy one first. That's the sentiment. And I'm using the Nuts About You stamp. So we're just gonna ink this up. This is the Memento Black ink, and we'll put this right in the center. And that's ready to go. Whoops, don't go under there. So that's all set. Okay, so next we're going to do our squirrel. Now you can do this in a couple different ways. You can just stamp it normal. This is a 2-step stamp, right? So it has 2 different stamps for the squirrel. So you can try and line it up I'm not that good, so I have to use the Stamparatus. So I'm going to bring the Stamparatus in, and I'll show you what I've done here with this. And I know this is kind of on an angle. Okay, so you can see this one that I've already stamped out, right? So what I'm going to do is just put in my piece of cardstock. And then what I would do is just put my squirrel stamp down where I want it, and then just pick it up with this. I'm actually going to move this over a little bit so it's more in the center of this. And I'll just use my magnets to hold down this sheet. It doesn't have to be straight because we're going to cut him out, right? So I think that's good placement. So we're going to do the outline first, and I'm going to, again, use the Memento ink. And I'm just going to ink this up right here on the side. I hope you can see this. Try and keep it in the camera. And then I'm just going to press it down. Now I've got the outline of the squirrel. He's so cute. And that's it with the Memento. Now the next one I would line up is the inside of the squirrel. And I've already lined it up. That's why I'm not showing you. So I've already lined it up to fit perfectly where it belongs. So I would put the stamp up, line it up, bring this down, press it, and so it picks up the stamp, right? And so now we know it's going to be in the right spot. Okay, now the nice thing about this is it's got two sides. You don't have to use both sides. You can use one and then the other. If you are doing a lot of cards, use both sides, because then you can just keep going one after another, right? Do this, then this, then this, then this, and you can keep going and make a lot of cards that way. So I'm going to use the soft suede ink and do the coloring of the squirrel. So I'm just going to ink this up and press it down. And that's it. Our squirrel is finished. You can see he's really cute. All right, so I'm going to put this away. But I could have just kept going and made a whole bunch of little squirrels, right? So the other thing you can do is if you don't want to line up and do the two-step stamping, you can just color the squirrel as well, right? And so I did that originally, and it got a little smeary, but I just colored it with a couple Stampin' Blends and didn't do that at all. But I decided I like this better. It looks a little more crisp, and I think I like it more. I still am going to go ahead and color the acorn in, though. And so I'm going to use my bronze and ivory blends for that. So I'll just use the bronze for the cap of the acorn. So it's a little bit different color, right like that. And then I'll use the ivory for the bottom, the ivory for the bottom of the acorn. And that's it says ivory, but it's a little tannish, isn't it? But I think it's a good color for the little nut for the squirrel. Okay. Then we're just going to take our snips, which are super sharp, and we're just going to cut this little guy out for our card. And I'm kind of surprised I didn't cut one out ahead of time. So let's just do it right now. And he's not too tough to cut out, right? It's just one big shape. So I'm just leaving a little bit of white around the edge. Doesn't have to be perfect. I don't really see too many squirrels where I live here in San Antonio. When I lived in the Chicagoland area, we had lots of squirrels in our yard, and they were so cute, and it was so funny because they would like really tease the dogs. I remember because they knew the dog was on the other side of the patio door and wasn't going to come out and get him. So they would just like, I feel like torture my dogs, but it was kind of funny. But we had a big tree outside our bedroom window with a big hole in it that the squirrels had their little house in. So that was really cute. I enjoyed seeing the squirrels right outside our window all the time. And then I always, on Christmas morning, it was always cold, but they seemed to come out anyway in the snow. And I would always bring them nuts for Christmas. Is that silly? I always felt a little bit guilty though because I could never find nuts that weren't salted. So I thought, okay, I'm giving all the squirrels hypertension, so that's good. But I wanted them to have a little Christmas treat, so I like the squirrels. I wish I had more squirrels in my yard here in San Antonio. The squirrels are a different color too. Have you noticed that when you go other places? The squirrels are a little bit different color here in San Antonio than they were in Chicago. Okay, there's our squirrel. Enough squirrel talk, right? Okay, the other thing then I did is with that same designer series paper, I just fussy cut one of these little acorn pieces out with the leaves, and we're going to use that to decorate by the squirrel too. So you can see this one right here I've already cut out. So we're ready to just finish assembling our card. Now I can see I've already messed something up a little bit, and that is the ribbon I tied around this designer series paper. So I'm going to lift this up a little bit and see if I can place my ribbon here, so I can still tie it on the side, and it looks like I'll be fine with that. So I can press that back down, and I'm going to have my bow probably right about here. So this ribbon is really nice, and this ribbon is the Sahara Sand Twill ribbon. And it's just a nice, you can see it's almost like chevron-y. It's just a really nice ribbon, very neutral. You could use it on anything, and I thought it looked nice with the fall card. Okay, so we've got our bow. I'm going to add just a little more adhesive since I lifted this up to make sure that that's stuck down okay. Okay, that looks fine. So now I've, with the layering circle dies again, I cut out a bunch of circles, right? So I cut out all scallops this time. So I've got the So Saffron and Vellum and So Saffron and Vellum. So I'm just going to attach those. And this big one will be the backdrop for our squirrel and the little bunch of leaves and acorns. And we'll use this one for our sentiment. Okay. Alrighty. Let's pop up our squirrel. And we'll put him a little bit off to the side. Whoa, come on. Right like that. Isn't the look on his face adorable? Just so cute. All right, a couple of dimensionals for the leaves and acorns, cut out of the same paper we used for the background. Make sure, I'm just put some dimensionals on the back. I feel like, let me just move my camera for 1 second because I feel like it's tipped a little bit and I'm not getting down far enough so you can see on the camera. Okay, then we'll kind of put this over here, and then we're just gonna pop both these things up on our card, and then we're gonna be done with this card. So we're going to put this where it won't show on behind the paper, and we'll just cover up our ribbon just a little bit right here and put that on an angle. I'm almost out of dimensionals. It's time to start using the edges, right? Because we got to use it all up. So I'm just going to go through and clip some of this, and then I can just pick it up and use it on the back. All right, and we'll put this one right there. Okay, what do you think of that card? A nice, cute little fall card. Send it to a friend. Oh, look, we've got a dimensional backing behind here. Let's get rid of that. All right, card number 3. Pretty easy, right? That's a good card, nice and easy to make. All right, moving on to the last card. I thought this medallion was just so pretty that I felt like the designer series paper could just stand alone. You really didn't need much on this card because it's just such a pretty, pretty paper. So the other thing I used on this card was the stitched rectangles dies just to cut out these 2 rectangles. All right, and those are these dies right here. This is a handy set to have. I use this one all the time for everything because I like the stitching on it. Okay, so here's the pieces for this card. Not that many pieces, right? I think there's only 4 pieces. So we're starting with Mint Macaron cardstock, 8.5, 5.5, score to 4 1/4. Then we have this piece of Rings of Love DSP, which is in the medallion, and this is 5 1/4 by 4. And we're just going to put this right here. Do I want it like this or do I want it like that? I think I'm going to put it like this. And just use some seal for that. I said I wanted it like this, right? Yeah, I'm going to put it up like this. And we'll center that right on the front of our card. Then I cut the stitch rectangles out of the vellum and the Mint Macaron cardstock again. I'm going to use the, should I use Night of Navy? I think I'll use Night of Navy for the sentiment. I wrote just a card to say you're amazing. And that was from that Sale-A-Bration, that old Sale-A-Bration stamp set. So for this one, I'm going back to the Charming Sentiments, and this time we're going to use the one that says Beyond Grateful, which is this one right here. This one also has a die, but we're just using the rectangle, so we don't need to cut it out with the die. So we'll just get some Night of Navy, and we'll try and center this right in the middle. Okay. Now we'll just attach that to our vellum. Just get a little bit of seal right here. And then we'll just use some dimensionals to pop this up. Okay, and we'll put this right about here. And then what I embellished it with was some of these little rhinestones, and these are the Iridescent Rhinestones Basic Jewels. And these are really pretty because they kind of pick up the background color of the card, and then they're iridescent, so you can't beat that, right? So I'm just going to add some of these smaller ones. So we'll just pick them up and kind of add them randomly to some of the, whoa. Hold on. Add them randomly to some of the open spaces on the card. Maybe one like that. And that's it. Nice and simple. Can you see how they kind of pick up the mint background and look really pretty? So there it is with the two different sentiments. And I think they both look fine, right? So this was super, super simple card. The other thing you can do is dress up the envelope, right? So I just have a regular white envelope here that Stampin' Up sells, and I'm just going to use some of the same medallion paper in the Mint Macaron. And you can use any kind of adhesive you want. You can use the regular glue. I'm just going to put some seal on here and attach this to the envelope flap like this. And just line it up right on the fold. And then I'm going to take my scissors and cut around the edge. Now you might want to use regular glue to attach this so you can get like an even seal all over so the edges kind of don't lift up. But it's easy, as you can see, just to cut it out along the edge. And then we're going to have a beautiful coordinating envelope to send our card in. Okay, so that's it. Isn't that cute? And now we can put our card in the envelope and send it that way. All right, so those are our cards for tonight. And let me just bring them back to show you again what we made. So we made a couple of our congratulations cards with our little house. We made our gatefold card for our thank you. We did our little squirrel with the Nuts About You cards. And then we did our medallion cards and envelope. And that was that. Pretty easy cards to make, really nice paper. Get it before it sells out. Let me tell you about a couple more quick things with Stampin' Up. And then I'll show you what I've got in store for us for next week, right? Again, this is that extra set that I have, Special Moments, the stamp set that I'm giving away if you share and leave me a comment. If you want the measurement and supply sheet for this week's projects, just send me an email. I'll be happy to email this to you. And my email is sunshineandsparklestamping@gmail.com, and I can send that to you. A reminder that this month's Paper Pumpkin is the Sweet Sunflowers kit, and this is going to be a beautiful kit for Paper Pumpkin. Here's some pictures of it. Here's the link, if you can see it at the bottom, to join Paper Pumpkin. This is a great way to start out because you get everything in there. I've showed you before the little Paper Pumpkin kits, and you get dimensional, you know, just different things. Sometimes you get dimensionals, you always get glue dots, you get a little Stampin' Pad. This time you get 2 Stampin' Spots. So you're going to get the Crushed Korean Soft Suede Stampin' Spots in here. It'll make 9 cards, 3 of 3 different designs, and you're going to get 8 foil honeycomb sheets as a free gift this month. So here's more of a close-up picture so you can see bigger what it's going to look like. Look, there's little bees. That's really cute. All right, so next week I'm going to use some of the Designer Series paper and stamp set again from the Sale-A-Bration catalog, and this is going to be this set near the back that you can earn with a $100 purchase. And with the $100 purchase, you get the stamp set and the Designer Series paper. So these are some of the cards that we're going to do next week. I've got this Wishing You Everything Wonderful, and for sentiments, we're going to use that same set that we used tonight again, which was the Charming Sentiments with the little die cuts, and you can see how pretty that is die cut out. So we're going to do this card. We're going to do this thank you card, a little happy birthday card, and then this Beyond Grateful card, all again with that Designer Series paper and the stamp set from Sale-A-Bration. So I hope you can join me next week. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I really appreciate it. And I hope everybody has a good rest of the week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.